ఆరోగ్య శాఖ సంయుక్త కార్యదర్శి లవ్ అగర్వాల్ మీడియాతో మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
आज इससे पहले भी हमने कई बार चर्चा की है, कोविड के मैनेजमेंट में यह एक समग्र सरकार और संपूर्ण समाज द्वारा किया जाने वाला कार्य है और इसके लिए जरूरी है कि एक स्थाई पर हम संक्रमण के प्रसार को रोकें, वह हमारा मूल कारण है और इसको कंट्रोल जब तक हम नहीं कर पाएंगे तब तक स्वास्थ्य सेवा का वह बुनियादी ढांचा, यह जो आवश्यक लॉजिस्टिक्स चाहिए, उन पर हमेशा स्ट्रेस बना रहेगा। तो जिस तरह से एक तरफ सरकार की स्थाई पर सप्लाई साइड यानी कि आपूर्ति पक्ष पर काम हो रहा है, जरूरी है कि हम डिमांड साइड यानी कि मांग पक्ष पर भी, उसके मैनेजमेंट पर भी उससे अधिक कार्य करें। यह बहुत जरूरी है। हमारे लिए जरूरी है कि कलेक्टिवली हम सब लोग मिलकर ट्रांसमिशन की श्रृंखला को तोड़ने पर जरूरी रिक्वायर्ड कार्य करें। और जैसे कि हमने इससे पहले भी आपके सबसे रिक्वेस्ट की है कि जो हमारे प्रदेश, जो हमारे स्टेट्स या जिले जहां पर अभी संक्रमण कम है, हम वहां पर कंटेनमेंट पर अपना फोकस बनाए रखें ताकि वहां पर इन्फेक्शन ज्यादा ना फैले। और जो वो एरिया है जहां पर कि या तो हाइयर सर्ज नोट किया जा रहा है, ज्यादा केसेस नोट किए जा रहे हैं या हाई केस पॉजिटिविटी नोट की जा रही है, वहां पर जरूरी है कि हम इंटेंसिव एक्शन और लोकल कंटेनमेंट पर उसी मोमेंटम से काम करें ताकि हम इन्फेक्शन का फैलाव रोक सकें। आज जरूरी है कि जिस तरह से पिछले 1 साल से हम लोग काम करते आ रहे हैं, वह मिशन मोड कंटिन्यूड रहे। जरूरी है कि हमारे इन एफर्ट्स में जन भागीदारी, जन आंदोलन, जैसे कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हमेशा कहते आए हैं, हम उस मोमेंटम को बनाए रखें। जन भागीदारी, जन सपोर्ट से हम इंश्योर करें कि हमारा ट्रांसमिशन और जो ट्रांसमिशन की श्रृंखला है उसके लिए रिक्वायर्ड एक्शन किया जाए। जरूरी है कि अपनी मेडिकल फ्रेटर्निटी के साथ काम करते हुए उचित क्लिनिकल प्रबंधन पर काम करें। हमारा सारा ट्रीटमेंट प्रोटोकॉल के मुताबिक हो। उसके साथ ही जरूरी है कि हम जो हमने आइडेंटिफाइड प्रायोरिटी एज ग्रुप लिए हैं उनका 100% टीकाकरण हो। चेन ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन को रोकने में सबसे अधिक सपोर्ट हमारे लिए जरूरी है कि हम कोविड सेफ बिहेवियर, कोविड उचित व्यवहार का पालन करें। वह हमारे लिए इतना जरूरी है कि जैसे हम इससे पहले भी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं कि यह हमारे एक सोशल वैक्सीन के रूप में काम करेगा और जिसके अंतर्गत हम हमेशा रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं मास्क का उपयोग, 2 गज की दूरी और सैनिटाइजेशन कैसे किया जाए, हैंड एज वेल एज रेस्पिरेटरी हाइजीन कैसे मैनेज किया जाए, मेंटेन किया जाए, उस पर काम करें। जरूरी है कि हम एक स्थाई पर वैक्सीनेशन का प्रयोग करें, एक स्थाई पर हम क्लिनिकल प्रोटोकॉल पर काम करें, बट कड़ाई इन टर्म्स ऑफ एंश्योरिंग कि इन्फेक्शन ना फैले, नहीं तो हमारा हेल्थ सिस्टम कंटिन्यूड स्ट्रेन में रहेगा। हम उस पर भी कार्य करते रहें, इसकी भी अत्यधिक आवश्यकता है। धन्यवाद।
प्रोफेसर विजय राघवन जी।
धन्यवाद। शुरू करने से पहले मैं 2 मुद्दों पर स्ट्रेस करना चाहता हूं। फर्स्ट, दिस इज अ वेरी क्रिटिकल टाइम इन आवर कंट्री and it's important for all of us to work together and ensure that we, India and the world, get out of this pandemic. Second, it's important that we understand that there are about 4 factors at play here. The first and most immediate is doing everything we can now and doing it together to help those who are currently impacted. It is gut-wrenching for all of us to see what is happening, and we must continue to strengthen all healthcare workers, frontline workers, patients and their families, those ensuring supply chains function, and make sure that we overcome this huge surge. Now that's the first point. Now let us work together to attend to the present. And the next 3 issues which I'm going to talk about are about bringing down the wave, dealing with future ones. The 3 points are: what can we do, what does the virus do, and what do vaccines do? What we can and should do is simply stated, but not easy to implement, as we have seen. Yet the best time for us to change our behavior is now. What we at every level, from individuals, families, communities, local government, state government, central government, need to do is to maximally and effectively maintain distance and follow COVID appropriate behavior. This is critically important. Distancing can exponentially bring down the spread. The virus can only go from human to human. In each context, therefore, we need to follow COVID-appropriate behavior that is most effective and tailor it to that context. Now, I'll be principally giving an overview on the other points. What does the virus do and what vaccines and science can do in that context? I will briefly summarize how SARS coronavirus 2 variants emerge and what they mean for us and what they mean for us going ahead. Dr. Sujit Singh, Director NCDC, and Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, will elaborate on the variants under investigation and of concern in India. Let me just summarize the key conclusions before I go on. First, we need to do what we need to do does not change because of the variants. Masks and distancing are critical and most effective. Given the higher transmissibility of some variants, this is most important, but it is the same message. The variants do not alter the message. The variants are transmitted the same way as the original strain. It does not have other properties of new kinds of transmission in the air or anything like that. It just infects humans in a manner which makes it more transmissible because it gains entry, makes more copies, and goes out again, the same way as the original one. Second, vaccines are effective against the current variants. Third, new variants will arise all over the world and in India too. While variants which increase transmission will likely plateau, immune-evasive variants and those which lower or increase disease severity will arise going ahead. Finally, scientists in India and all over the world are working to anticipate these kinds of variants and act against them rapidly by early warning and developing modified tools. This is an intense research program which is happening in India and abroad. Now let us look at variants and the huge second wave. Many factors contributed to this large wave, and variants are but one factor. Now, why did the first wave decline? Let us understand that first. And why did the second wave start? Why is it so severe? You've heard from Dr. Love Agarwal what we are doing and what we should do about what is happening now. But the first wave declined because of two factors. As infections rose, so did immunity amongst those infected. As cautionary steps at every one of these levels I alluded to earlier, from individual to high level increased, there was less opportunity for infections to spread. A combination of a standing level of immunity in the population and cautionary steps halted this spread of the first wave and caused a decline. Unless new opportunities arise, this would have been the situation. New opportunities came about all over the world and in India too. If cautionary steps decline, new opportunities for spread arise. What happens if we drop our guard? The level of caution drops, but also so does the standing level of immunity is often not enough to stop infection spreading. Many people get infected until we reach a new immunity threshold. Such a second wave is typically smaller than the first. Such a second wave was expected. However, multiple parameters can change in small amounts and add up to a second wave much larger than the first. Each parameter may seem a small change, but together, because the rise is exponential, this adds up enormously. Such a much larger second wave with the ferocity we are seeing was not predicted. Now, what contributes to a large second wave? What were the opportunities open to the virus? After a first wave, immunity can keep new infections low. However, immunity may not have been widespread, and the fraction uninfected, due to cautionary steps they have taken in the first wave, may have been large. Immunity can also fade. Someone who has recovered could be reinfected, but we know that after 8 months of being infected, protection is still very high, it's about 80%. But could that 20% be sufficient to cause immune evasion of significance? So the combination of less caution, less immunity in a population from the first wave, and the consequent opening up of access to the virus drives a large second wave. In other words, as long as variants are not immune evasive substantially, their being more transmissible is important, but that alone will not cause a big surge unless cautionary steps decline and a large population is available for infection. What role do the variants play in the size of the second wave? Let us look at that. And to do that, we have to see how SARS coronavirus 2 was successful so quickly. This virus emerged in late 2019 in Wuhan, and at that time it was a virus which we could call a generalist. It could infect many mammal species, minks, cats, dogs, etc. And it indicates that it's not specifically a tightly human-adapted virus. Now, this didn't change much in all of 2020, and all the evolutionary signals show evidence for this lineage to continue in the same way. The first 11 months of the SARS coronavirus 2 evolution had a relatively very low accumulation, slow accumulation of mutations, about 2 mutations per month in global lineages. Generally, not much of what is called adaptive evolution was detected, with one exception, which we can go through later if needed. Now, the second phase started sometime in October 2020 and has gone on now in April, May 2021. Now, one example of that dramatic change in that period was the B117. While people had already studied how changes in the spike protein, which is the key aspect of the virus for it to infect us, could change the antibody sensitivity, people did not predict this kind of accumulation of mutations to give rise to a lineage like B117. So that was indeed somewhat of a surprise. And this mutation, this set of mutations could have arisen in an immune-compromised individual where lots of opportunities for change can take place. Now, there are 2 points about the virus. As I said, it started off as a generalist, a rough, crude key which can fit into many locks. Now, as transmission increases and mutations which increase transmission take place, the key becomes more and more refined and more specific. But there's only so much that transmission can be perfected. You cannot go beyond a certain level. But the very same region of the spike protein, which is involved in increasing transmission, is also involved in other activities of the virus, such as how the host system responds with antibodies towards it. So viruses which are better and better at transmission can also accumulate changes.